You know, I had a mom who, she doesn't know this to this day, but I share this story. She impacted me so much. When Katie and Luke were 7 and 9, they went through a super picky eating phase. Katie was a picky eater, but Luke was really a picky eater. He had a gag reflex. Does anybody here have kids who have a gag reflex? It's hard because you feel like you should be, you know, you're going to sit at that table till you eat your vegetables, but then they eat their vegetables and like they throw them up. So you feel like you should be forcing them to eat things, but you don't want to because it's the texture that gets them. So long story short, Luke had a really picky eating phase, and Katie was a picky eater too, and I was stressed as a mom. I mean, I found myself making things quesadillas, plain pasta, things that they could, you know, were easy and they, you know, didn't have a lot of flavor and texture, and I was like, they're not getting enough nutrition. I can't keep doing this. I have to come up with a plan. And I can't remember if I read this somewhere, if I even came up with it myself, but what I decided to do was once a week, the kids would be the head cook for a meal in our house that week. And so we would go through cookbooks together. They would pick out the meal. We would go to the grocery store. They would help me shop for that meal. They would pick the night that we would make it on, and they would be the head cook that week for that meal. And you know what? It worked awesome. They ended up trying things they never would have tried had I just made it and put it in front of them. So it was really working, and it was really great. But here's the thing. After a while of doing it, it started to become a whole lot of work for me. I started to feel the effort of it. I was kind of getting drained. It was a lot of work. So one Sunday, Mike and I took the kids to Starbucks after church, and we had brought cookbooks, and we thought, okay, we're going to go to Starbucks, and then we're going to have the kids pick their meals that they're going to cook, and then we'll go to the grocery store after that. So we were sitting there, and the kids were reading through the cookbooks, looking at pictures and deciding and flipping the pages and deciding and deciding. And they finally picked their meal for that week. And I looked at the recipes, and I was like, those are good choices. That's going to be tasty. And inside, I was like, oh. To be honest with you, I was groaning because I was like, oh, I got to buy all those ingredients. And oh, man, that's going to take a long time. And I was just feeling the effort of it. And that is when the woman at the table next to us comes over to me. And she puts her hand on my back. And she says, you're a really good mom. And I kind of smiled, and I said, thanks. And she said, is this something you do with the cookbooks all the time? And I didn't know she had been listening to us, and so I explained to her, you know, what we were doing and why we were doing it. And she looks at me and she goes, I think that's great. She pats my back and she says, you're a really good mom. And I'm not kidding you, I was almost like, started bawling right there in Starbucks because I was at that place where I was just wondering if all the effort was worth it, right? I was tired. And I needed to be reminded that it was. And sometimes as moms, the most inconvenient choices for us, or the ones that are the most work, are the ones that are the best ones for our kids. And so I just want to pause and say, if you're here this morning and you're in that place where you are wondering if all the effort is worth it, I want to remind you that it is. You're a really good mom, and don't forget that. And so if we all assume the best in each other, and if we love for real, we take it in action. You know, I just challenge all of us. Let's be intentional. We have a card ministry at the Mom Initiative where we write cards and we pray, God, who do you want us to give this card to? And you see a mom walking down the street and you give her that card. You guys can all join in on that. Love in action, love for real, love other moms. Reach out like that woman did to me at Starbucks and provide comfort.